Hi, and welcome back to the Christian Struggle with me, Amalia Stowe. And this is going to be another one of my weekly installments of my weekly struggle. So something that I really struggled with this week was appreciation of where God has me now and not remembering everything that he's done for me and what he's brought me through. So as we're getting to know each other, you guys will get to know a lot about me, and something that you will get to know is how much I love to travel. So I want to see as much as I can of this world before I go, and that's just something that I'm so passionate about. And so on my bucket list, I want to see every state in the US of A. I want to visit all the US territories, and like I said, any other countries, and I've been to various. And out of all the 50 states, I've already been to 25, and I've been to one of the US territories so far. So, but last year and this year, I really felt God saying it's not your season to travel. If anything, you might want to take traveling off your radar for the next few years, because that's not really where we're at right now. We're working and building on other things. And immediately, I'm like sad about it, but I understand. And travel hasn't been completely off. It's just I'm not getting to travel how I want to. This year I really haven't been able to travel, and I really don't see too much traveling for the foreseeable future for this year. Only one. I felt like I only gave myself one trip. Financially and spiritually, like, that's just what works best for me for 2019, and that's something that's like super hard for me because I'm used to like just moving all over and just doing things. And normally if I can't do big overseas trips, I try to do a lot of little local travel, a lot of sightseeing just within the area where I'm at or in the surrounding states, and that just hasn't happened for me at all this year, really. And lately, it's springtime and summer's coming upon us, and so many people are traveling and they're making their travel plans and they're telling me about them, and a lot of people come and ask me for advice because a lot of the places I've been to, and I just felt myself getting really like envious, very happy for them, but just like within my heart like resentful and unappreciative. And I even asked God, I was like, God, why are they getting to go and do this and that, and I can't go anywhere? And immediately God responded like, maybe you can't go places right now, Malia. Maybe it's not in this season, but be joyful of all the places you've been, and that you've been to the places that most people are just going for the first time, or this is their first time. One of the girls, she's never been anywhere. She's only been in the state that she lives in and the surrounding area of that state. She hasn't even ventured all over the state, and this is her first overseas trip, and I'm super excited for her. And I just need to remember, I'm so glad that God reminded me that I'm blessed to have had the exposure that I have had, and I shouldn't focus on what is at the moment, and I should take joy and pride of what I have done. And I think that we live in a society that we are very much like, what have you done for me now? What have you done for me lately? And I think when it comes to relationships and marriages and things like that, it's great because you always want your marriage to be at its best, or you want to be working on it. Sometimes, when you're in marriage, you have ups and downs, or in friendships, anytime in relationships, you're going to have your ups and downs, but you want to continue to get better. You don't want to have a toxic friend but keep them around because at one time they were really good, but now they're toxic, and you keep focusing on how good they used to be versus how they really are now. So I think that when it comes to those types of things, we should focus on where we are now and what have you done for me lately. But I think when it comes to God and Christian worldviews, that we should always remember what God has done for us and always remember what God has brought us through. And when I look at my past, I always see where God worked things out, and I don't think that it was a coincidence that I've gotten to travel so much. in my past. I feel like God, you know, he knows the desires of our hearts and he gives us those things. And sometimes it doesn't always work. Like I said, right now I'm in a season of not traveling, and I had only allotted myself one trip for this year, like I said, financially, and just with so many other variables of things going on in my life. I don't have the time nor the finances really to travel this year like I normally like to. So I had allotted myself one trip, and I wanted it to be an overseas trip. I wanted to hit a different country up, and my favorite pastor announced that he was having a Christian conference in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, so immediately I decided to say, okay, that's where I'm going this year. I slash going overseas and taking another trip like you would like to. If you're going to take one trip, go to this conference that your favorite pastor is going to. And I'm super excited about that. Super, you know, and but like, it's crazy to think, like, when I think of me and how much I like to travel, the fact that I'm like canceling maybe Costa Rica to go to Oklahoma, people are probably like, are you nuts, you know? But I just felt like that is what's in my best interest. That's what I need to do. And part of me, like I said, wasn't excited, loving the idea of canceling an overseas trip, but I'm super excited because Oklahoma is one of those states that I haven't been to. So it's like, okay, I get to knock out something else, you know, getting closer to my bucket list. So it's always you gotta find the good, and you gotta find the silver lining and things. So, but I'm super excited about this transformation conference. And I'm super excited about visiting Tulsa, Oklahoma. And right where it's at, it's got a few surrounding states. So I was like, oh, maybe I could hit up a couple more states while I'm already there anyway for the week. And the tickets went on sale like back in April, I believe. And I got the early bird special, and I booked my Airbnb, very affordable. And I believe I hadn't booked my rental yet or my airfare. So this week, everything's just, like I said, I was very resentful about my traveling, and God just put it on my heart to remember all the travel that I have done, and you know, where my finances were and everything. So something that also happened was my one and only vehicle broke down. And that's actually one of the things that has caused me a lot of financial setbacks this year, is my vehicle keeps breaking down, and I've spent a lot of money fixing it. And it was just like, okay, you can keep pouring money into this car, which I had already told myself that by the end of this year I was gonna purchase a second vehicle, but I wanted to wait till the end of this year. But with my car breaking down, I had to move my timeline up and everything and just get a car as soon as possible. And car buying is very stressful, but when everything was said and done, I was like, God showed out twice again in this week, you know, like, again, I wasn't even appreciative of where I had been, but also I didn't even realize how God was working in my life. My car broke down, I needed to get a second car immediately, and I was able to do it, and I was able to get a good interest rate, and just financially I was able to do it. So it's just like, maybe you can't do one thing, but you can do something, and having a reliable car is more important than taking a vacation. So it's just, sometimes our priorities are out of whack and God's are intact, and he knows where we're going, he knows what's going to happen. So he's taking care of us, and if he has us in a season, it's for a reason. And then what's crazy was my sister, she actually had sent me last week a link to this place that she wanted to visit in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And she was like, Amalia, we should go there. And I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna be there in September. If you want to check it out, like, we can go and do that while I'm there. And she was like, what dates are you there? Push me the dates, let me look at airfare. And I was like, cool. So I pushed her the dates, and I went and started, and I was like, oh, I need to probably book my airfare as well soon too. Like I said, I had only bought my conference ticket, and I had booked my Airbnb back when they announced the dates, but they still haven't announced what times the presentations are, like the the sermons. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I should fly in the morning or I should fly in the night before. You know, if everything starts off in the evening at 6, then I could fly in that morning. And if it's on, because the conference starts like on a Tuesday, and obviously it's going to be cheaper to fly in on like a Tuesday or a Monday. So just airfare, I was waiting for actual date, like timelines of everything, so I can book the best airfare possible. That's why I was waiting on booking airfare, and I was like, okay, so when she hit me with the Oklahoma stuff, I was like, well, let me look up airfare. Airfare to go to Oklahoma for whatever reason around that time, and I don't know if it's because of the conference, shot through the roof. And I was like, whoa, if these prices stay where they are, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to swing this. And then I said, and I still gotta price my rental. And again, I can't book the rental until I have my airfare, because I need to know what days, what time I'm gonna be there, pick up and drop off my rental and all that good stuff. And but now with my new vehicle, I looked it up, and it's a 10-hour drive to, well, I'm stopping in Indianapolis and then heading over to Oklahoma, because I have friends in the area that, like I said, I wanted to visit the surrounding states. And so, and I was like, but even then to Oklahoma, I think it's like a 12-hour drive. For those of you that don't like to drive, you're probably like, that is nuts. But for me, I love to drive. I like just getting on the road, and just, so for me that was nothing. And I was like, oh wow, you know, it's crazy how God works everything out. Well, like I said, when I was looking at airfare, I was like, I might not be able to go because the airfare is way too high. But now I don't have to get airfare, and I don't have to pay for a rental. And so the trip is gonna be, it's a go. It's definitely a go. Now I can just hit the road when I'm ready. I don't have to worry about flying in at a specific time or whatever, and it gives me more freedom to do things while I'm there. As far as like, I'm actually now, before I was going to try to fly in Monday or Tuesday just because it's more affordable, but now I could leave Friday after work and have all that time in the area that I need to. And like I said, I have friends in the areas in surrounding states that I will be staying with for free with lodging. And it's just crazy how much he just works things out, and we focus on the things he's not doing. At least for me, I was focusing on what he's not doing versus seeing what he has done and what he is doing. And I just felt horrible, and I repented, and I'm like, God, you are so awesome, and you do things your own way. And here I am, always just like, you know, being negative about certain things, and I just have to, you know, give it all to him and see how he's working things out. And it just brings so much joy and happiness to my life to know that he's in control of my life and not me, because I would jack it up because I'm a hot mess. And I started to get these devotionals, and I read them during the week, and I read my Bible, and one had popped up in my devotional this week, and I read it, and I was like, oh, it goes right with my weekly struggle. So I wanted to read you guys the scripture, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it, and it's Romans 8:28, and it reads, and we know that all things God works out for the good of those who love him. And again, that's Romans 8:28, and it's so true how much he just works things out for us, even when we are focusing on the bad things and the things that we aren't getting, you know, because like I said, he told me it's not your season to travel. So I like chilled on the traveling, and I'm like, God, why don't I get to travel? But I wasn't focusing on, one, that I've already gotten to travel, and two, he's working it out for other reasons. Like I said, what if I would have been traveling and then then I'd be struggling with a car, you know, that's constantly breaking down. But I was able to do that, and he would just worked everything out. So I hope you liked the video. Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do. And these are my weekly installments of just my weekly struggle that I like to share with you guys. But if there's something else that you want to see, because I do have other types of videos, or something that you want me to speak on, or just would like my perspective on, let me know. So I hope you guys have a blessed day, a blessed week, and just remember to look at the bright side and remember what God has brought you through, or what he has done for you, because he does so much good. And if you're anything like me, you focus on the negative. So let's focus on the positive this week. You guys be blessed. Love you, and see you guys soon. Bye.